Hey YouTube universe, guess what? I asked you guys which hash should I keep and what. You guys said I should keep the old fart because I'm not over the hill yet, but you guys all suggested I give the over hill.
Is that what this thing says?
Yeah,
you just told me to put it on. You wouldn't let me look at it.
That's right, Conky, over the hill. Well, at least you didn't pass out. Have a wonderful day.
You gonna hurt yourself?
Conky, if I didn't hurt myself, it wouldn't be funny. You can do all kinds of tricks, man. But this,
Like fall off it?
Whoa! Yeah!
All by myself. Hello, everybody out there in the YouTube universe. Robert Zjaba Auctioneer Extraordinaire. I appreciate you joining Auctions Anonymous. And today, well, luckily we're alive because there's a storm. And there's a storm with Conky and Hales brewing. But let me explain. It was a crazy, crazy, crazy storm. My building still doesn't even have power. So anyone out there that has been affected by the storm.
You guys don't have power?
Yes, 2 days, no power. So in the chat, please. Why
do you think he's sitting in the car?
Because the building doesn't have any power.
There you go.
No, man. I'm sitting outside here, making sure we got no looters. I got Chachi up on the roof.
Wow.
I'm just hanging out, man. Got to make sure everything's cool, kosher.
Guys. That storm, everybody may not know, but in the area where Conky, Rob, myself are, it's a huge portion of northern Ohio. And there were tornadoes. Like I have tree, not branches, like huge limbs down everywhere. And praise the Lord, there's no damage or anything. I was driving home from an epic unit in that on 271 South, couldn't see 5 feet in front of me. Everybody's doing like 10 miles per hour. It was the most insane storm I think I've seen in my 47 years. Like it was wild. Someone
sent me a picture of a funnel cloud. That I don't know if it ever touched down, but it was definitely a funnel cloud coming down. That's for sure. It was crazy. And Conky, anything bad?
Not even leaves off the trees.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Are you serious?
Yeah, we lost. Yeah, I can't say we lost a few like branches that were dead anyway, small ones. But normally when we get a storm through here, there's leaves everywhere. And we didn't even really get that.
It looks like early fall over here at Hales headquarters. How crazy is it that there's a hurricane in OTTER Creek and there's no damage? One tree at Tubetown falls over, but I've got more damage of trees and leaves at Hales headquarters. It's mind blowing.
I mean, there was some serious damage, and I mean, I've seen a lot. Like I said, people send me all kind of pictures, and some of my friends, I mean. Like in Parma, there was like all these poles just down on the whole street, tossed. So there's definitely. Go ahead, Conks.
I was gonna say, as I drive around, I see that too. Different places, there's like trees that have come down on wires and taken poles down. You're driving down the road, and you see like the wires, and they're not necessarily power wires. It could be cable or phone, but they're like down and laying in the street, and then they go back up.
I'm just glad no one passed out or died.
Man, it was crazy. Patience and Christian were driving back as well. It's just easier for them to keep all the pepper stuff in their vehicle. So we drive separate so we don't have to keep transitioning it. And Patience was driving, and she said there were trees down in the major highway. I didn't see any of the trees. But keep in mind, I couldn't see 5 feet in front of me, and I was over in the fast lane. So she could have been in the slow lane. Like, it's wild. Never seen anything like that.
And Scott Roberts, I appreciate the DoorDash for Chachi. Him and Just Jeff been working their butt off. We got that house. You guys seen the video, the $1,200 to clean out the house and $3,000 to clean out the barn. The barn video is coming out. But we cleaned the whole house out. Now we've been cleaning the barn. And you want to talk about a lot of work. And Chachi needs some DoorDash because he's been working his butt off. So thank you, Scott Roberts. I appreciate that. And Chachi's going to love it. You know what? I'm telling you, he's going to be like so happy. And Mary Dale. Of course, we love you. We appreciate that. Always super sticker. Thank you for your support.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much. And yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that in a storm like that, so much bad things can happen, and that I didn't hear anything besides some damage, minor damage, and things like that. that's the best thing because, everything's replaceable and a loss of life would be horrible.
Horrible. And there were some that lost life in Florida during the hurricane, which is horrible as well. But we thank God for safety up in Ohio. And
I know, I thought it was going to hit my sister-in-law lives in Orange Beach, and originally it was going right there, and then it turned to go on OTTER Creek, and I was like, holy smoke. But
like OTTER Creek's got a magnet, man, doesn't it?
Just lately.
OTTER Creek has a magnet for chaos.
Now, has OTTER Creek been hit by a lot of hurricanes before you moved there, or was that just something that started happening?
Yes, it's like direct path.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that until I moved there.
But you figured it out.
I did figure it out.
It happens. And the worst time of year for hurricanes usually is September coming up. And the reason why is that's usually the warmest temperature for the ocean and the Gulf and everything is that time because you had the whole summer. So, and obviously, as people know, hurricanes feed off of hot, warm oceans. And they're warm right now. I don't know how warm it is down there, but
well,
and
you guys
don't. It's happy like in the 90s, right? Every day.
The heat index down in OTTER Creek today was close to 110. I think it was at some point it was 106, and I think it was close to 110.
Amber said there's going to be a Fox 8 News said the earliest for their power Wednesday next week. Oh,
wow.
Man.
Dude, you might have to come over to Hales headquarters to work.
I'm going to send the whole crew.
Send the crew. We got plenty. We got plenty of jumbo dogs. We don't need power to eat.
You know, Black Widow said 370 more of these. I got 2 here. Jumbo dogs. Someone asked the other day, what brand of jumbo dogs are those?
I just get them at GFS.
So the GFS.
Gordon Food Service, GFS. You can find a local GFS around you. And
I got a generator, Heather. Those guys didn't hook it up. I don't know why they hooked it up. I've been working, man. I got other stuff to do. I can only be at one place in one time. You ever feel that way, guys?
Most days.
You wish you could be at like 2-3 places at once, right?
Yeah, if I could be in 2 places at one time, I would.
Sometimes people think you're able to do that, but it's impossible.
One of me would be self-employed or fun-employed. One of me would be on permanent vacation, maybe in the Philippines, somewhere there. And the third one of me, you know what? I don't know. I don't even know what the third one of me would accomplish.
Probably be a Ghostbuster, I imagine.
Probably be a Ghostbuster.
I mean, I'm
you
just
guys
guessing.
ever
A debunker.
Was it Multiplicity or Duplicity with was it Michael Keaton?
That sounds right.
Sounds familiar.
Where he was able to duplicate himself. So he did, and the duplicate, did all the work, and he went on vacation. And then the duplicate got busy, so he talked him into duplicating another original duplicate. And then there was a third one that Multiplicity, that the 2 duplicates came up with because they were so busy.
Looking it up now.
But by the time they came across this third one, he was like a rough copy. And they're like, we shave him. We take the razor out. We shave him while he's asleep.
That's
it. Multiplicity.
There it is. 1996. Oh my gosh, look how young he is. 1996. See, what was I doing in 1996? Oh, I think I graduated high school. What about you, Hales?
I graduated in 95. In 96, I was probably working at Camp Patmos during the summer and getting ready to get married. I was probably getting married.
There you go. Conky?
In 96?
I bet you were eating a peanut butter parfait.
Oh, here we go. I was 3 years old.
In 96.
I can still taste it.
I think I bought my first rental property in 96. It was a 4-unit apartment building.
Nice.
Donna was like 4. We had just moved into this house a few years earlier, or a few months earlier. We moved into this house in '94, actually. And yeah, that's it.
You had a
Making out
busy
with
year.
Noreen at McDonald's.
I was making out with Noreen and McDonald's, and 4 years later, we had a
What
daughter.
you were doing in '96?
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
Conky was doing.
Whoa. Noreen doesn't come down and scratch your back, too?
That's what I have this for.
I figured she'd come down, give you some sugar, and scratch that back at the same
Remember
time.
96?
Then I got to
This
tell
was
her where
a
to
year
scratch,
old.
and I can just,
Man.
you know. What I should do is just leave that right there and then just reach up and
There you
Got
go.
the
do this
divorce.
whenever I need it.
Mark got
Conky
married.
always getting sugar.
They got divorced. Mark got married though. Some people get
No-
divorced. Some
No
people work
disrespect.
full-time.
I like brown sugar. That's my favorite, brown sugar.
I graduated in '81. In Portage County, coaching girls softball and our son's baseball and then girls. Wow. Just waiting for Kiss Cam tonight. Uh-oh. People are waiting for that, Conky.
Brown sugar,
Working and married.
cinnamon.
Like
How can you go
married
wrong with brown sugar and
more
cinnamon?
today than that's awesome, Tammy. Entered high school in the fall of '96.
So there.
Moved.
There- there's
man.
the-
Whoa,
there's the
whoa,
Kiss
whoa.
Knew it.
Oh,
Knew
double
it.
shot. Oh, double shot, Noreen.
Okay.
Knew it.
Moving from Georgia. Burying my father. Sorry for that, Teresa. Grandson was born. See, same thing. People getting married, divorced, people passing away, people being born. I mean, it's just circle of life. 96, 30s, child. Graduated in 74. All right. 70. Still single in 96. Thank you, Noreen, for the kiss cam. Woo, woo, woo.
There you go.
Sophomore in high school, man. Yeah, 96, it was a good year. I like 96. I have nothing to complain about 96. Jeremy, you sound like you had a good 96, and we know Conky, he had a great 96.
Man, I'm trying to even think what I was doing. Like, I graduated in 95. There's no doubt I went to Camp Patmos. I worked over the summer. After that, I think I went and worked for the post office. And I was what was called then a casual carrier. They made minimum wage. You took up carriers excess so that the post office didn't have to pay them overtime. They just cut off, here's an hour, here's 2 hours. And after that I went and worked at Ross Incineration, the toxic hazardous waste plant, which boy, do I got stories from that. I've never told you guys stories about that.
And it's just crazy because actually we talked about maybe a few months ago about that Ross place. And then you're like, I worked there. And I was like, what?
I sure did.
My buddy, they took all the soil and all the other things from the trains
East
derailed.
Palestine.
Yep, and took it there to burn it.
Imagine
makes
the
no
neighbors
sense to
love
me.
that.
And I'm like, why? It's so bad, but we got to burn it. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
So I'll tell you the one incident that happened that I decided I would no longer work there. So without getting into chemistry, there are things out there that are called oxidizers. So for a fire to happen, you need to have a spark, you need to have tinder, you need to have a flame. You need to have oxygen, right? And so that's that triad, that triangle of fire. You have to have those things. Well, oxidizers create their own oxygen. And so what happened, there was a pallet of oxidizers right next to an acid tank. So the acid tank is hooked up with a big long hose and it's blowing into a 4,000 degree furnace, and it's being siphoned and it's being burned. Well, then the oxidizer pallet exploded, and there's 50, because it created its own oxygen, and there's 50 feet flames all in or around this acid tanker. Now you have to remember, I'm young then. Okay, I'm not 47. I am built like a brick house and very young and very fit. And I'm in a full acid suit because I was working on the acid tanker. So I go away from the fire like everybody should, and my foreman goes, "Get back in there and disconnect that acid tanker." And I was on supplied air. So if you know what supplied air is, you have full mask. You actually have a line that's supplying oxygen to you. And he goes, "Get back in." And I went, "No." He goes, "Get back in there now or you're fired." And I go, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe this." I go back, disconnect that acid tanker. I'm on top of the acid tanker. The flames are around me. I have to jump off of the top. If you've seen tankers going down the road, I had to jump off the other side of the acid tanker. And after that, I went, this job isn't worth it. It ain't worth it. And so that's
your
one
life.
of
Your life is not worth it, or any other craziness that could happen. I mean,
it's like they are not paying me enough. And why did I just go in when my foreman said to go in? It's like
that's why they hire young people.
and that was the decision that I was not going to do that anymore.
Well, that was a smart decision because, man, first of all, it sounds, well, nowadays, I mean, I don't know. Well, who knows what goes on over there? I would say it's probably changed, but the way I've heard stuff, I don't think it's changed at all.
I doubt it's changed much.
I wonder if they have that sign that says it's been this many days since our last accident.
They used to when I was there, but that was many, many, many years ago. I was just.
Did it ever go into triple digits or?
I don't remember all that.
But. I know I got one in my building. It's never got to 1. It's never even got to 1. That's
always something.
Graduated in 77. 77 was a fine year, that's for sure.
No, I worked for a place from, I'm guessing it was about 96 until about midway through 99. And that was kind of the same realization of what wasn't worth the money they were paying me. But I basically traveled a lot. When I got hired in, I was supposed to be out a week and in a week. And it kind of morphed into the first 3 months of 99. I was gone every week, maybe home Saturday and Sunday. Some days I didn't get home till Saturday, but I have to leave Sunday afternoon. It was bad. And Noreen developed some sort of a headache from all the stress of having to deal with a young child and me not being home and all that. And once we figured out what it was, basically what happened was the doctor gave her some pills and said, "Here, take these. If the headache goes away, then that means that your the cause of the headache is stress, and you need to get rid of whatever stress is causing it. It's just going to mask it. It's not going to make it go away, but you're just not going to feel the pain from it anymore." So she took the pills, and when the headache went away, I remember I had just flown to Chicago and rented the car, got all the stuff in the car, and I was driving somewhere. I was driving my first stop where I was going to service something, and I realized that these pills were going to help, and I called my boss and said I quit. That's it. I'm done. I'll work 2 more weeks for you, and that was my working for somebody else isn't worth the money moment right there. That was pretty much the only time I ever really felt that way and had to quit in the same fashion Jeremy did. I don't know. Did you leave notice or did you just walk out after that?
I got another job working for BF Goodrich, and I was in their Estane apartment, which Estane is a thermopolyurethane. We're getting into a lot of chemicals. We're getting into a lot of chemistry right now. Anyways, I was making raw chemicals with BF Goodrich, and then I had already wanted to go to college, and my oldest daughter was born at that point, and I was already planning to move on and go to college full time. I was saving up to go to college, and then they had a layoff. And here's the crazy thing with the layoff. I told my boss, I said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to college. I'm not staying here." I was like, "So take me, lay me off instead of somebody else who needs the job." And he goes, "Jeremy, I'm sorry, we can't do that. It goes based on seniority." Guess who the last person based on seniority was to get laid off?
Was that
Me.
you?
Me. So they laid me off, and I remodeled my master bedroom, and then I rented out the house, and I went off to college. I moved to West Virginia and went to college.
Everything happens for a reason. There you go. Got laid off, and boom. And when I got laid off, that's how I ended up being an auctioneer. Thank you, Big C. Appreciate that.
And life has never been the same.
Never been the same. It's always, you think about like certain parts of your life, and it's like, man, if I would have just stayed doing this or that, or what, you know what I'm saying? It's just like everything could happen, be different, you know? And
yeah, there's probably, you know, I don't know how many moments in anybody's life where making a different decision completely changes the trajectory of your life. You know what I mean? Like
OTTER Creek, I know what you mean.
well, sometimes the decisions aren't your decisions that affect it.
It's true.
It's decisions that other things happen that you never thought would affect it. I mean, obviously, like OTTER Creek, for example, it all started with a water meter, okay, or you know, and a 2-inch pipe. I mean, that's just how it's all so stupid. It could have been resolved, and it would never be to where it was at today, if like. But all that transpired to find out how crazy and corrupt everything was, all because of a water bill and how they were treating one person with water. So, you know, it's just like me. I got laid off from my job, and I was doing consulting work. 2008 happened, and I was low man on the totem pole. And the guy's like, "Well, we're not getting $40,000 and $50,000 jobs anymore. We're only getting $5,000 and $8,000 jobs. So I got to lay somebody off. You're the first one to go." So, you know, it's just one of those things. If 2008 didn't happen, who knows what I would be or what I'd be doing. But.
And you're like, you know what? A lot of people, they'd be like, you know what? I got laid off. Woe is me. I'm gonna live off the government. You know, I just got laid off. I'm gonna live off the government. But you went and you said, all right, not a problem. I'm gonna create things for myself. That's the right mentality.
Well, you have that right. And the thing I realized at that second of my life, I had zero control of my life. I was dependent. I was a dependent on somebody else to provide me financial stability. I was dependent on them, and they weren't dependent on me. So all of a sudden, I was expendable because they didn't have the financial stability anymore in their own business because everything collapsed. And you know, they were getting, like I said, we were doing jobs $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. All those jobs were gone. The highest paid job I think we got was $8,000 or $10,000. That was the highest paid job. And that was just to do receivership for hotels during that time frame because we were commercial appraisers, but we focus on hospitality, indoor water park resorts, golf courses, ski resorts. None of those places were going good after 2008. No one was building a ski resort, a golf resort, or an indoor water park resort from 2008 to about 2016.
Yeah, not during that crash.
Right. So, but you know, that fear of not having control over my own well-being drove me to say, you know what, never again. I will never be in that situation again. And I became unemployed. You know,
and life is better now, isn't it?
Well, I love my life. It's an amazing journey that I've been on, and I get to share it with all these awesome people that are watching tonight. So thank you all that checking out tonight. And you know, the great thing is I actually get the opportunity to share some of this stuff that I do, like these houses I go to, these storage units, some of the people we get to meet, and you know, and you guys both know because you guys get to share with people, and it's a great thing that, and also to go back and be able to see it 10 years from now, 20
and
years from now.
Leave it for your kids. That's
hey, I miss my dad. Let me watch this video. Oh my gosh, I remember when he'd say stupid things like that.
Yep.
I remember when he brought that stupid thing home. He found that in the storage unit.
Well, the time I had to quit that job, it was before I got into reselling, and it was before YouTube and all that. So what I wound up doing, because I had just sold that apartment building I said I bought in 96. I had just sold it in 99, and I sold it for quite a bit more than what I paid for it. So I was able to. I think I actually bought a dump truck, not the one I have now, but I bought a dump truck and just started doing demolition work and light construction work. I would do roofs and stuff like that. Of course, I was younger then. I could actually get up on a roof and do something. But that that was my version of fun employment at the time. It's hard work, but I wasn't relying on one or two decision makers to figure out whether or not I was going to have a job and be able to provide a roof over my head.
Yeah.
Roberta, if you're talking about the one, I haven't been back to shop. It's somewhere there, but we have no power right now, so I can't really look for it. But if that's the picture you're talking about, I'm sure it'll be coming up in the auction. We got a bunch of great auctions coming up. This Saturday, for example, is an awesome auction. Next Saturday, the last auction at the Parma House. And so much gold and jewelry, guys. Oh my gosh.
Do you have any auctions ending this Saturday, Rob?
Yes, this Saturday I have an auction ending.
So you're going to be okay for?
Oh yeah, it's all online. People can bid right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, for if you're not going to have power till next Wednesday, I'm just wondering. People will still be able to.
That's true. I will get the generators hooked up, Conky.
Yeah.
Or we'll just move everything to Hales' place.
There you go.
Hey, come on out. Got plenty of jumbo dogs.
Yeah. And reselling is fun. I tell everyone it is fun, but you got to be careful because there's different levels of reselling, and some people will try to jump right into it like crazy, and it's there, myself, Jeremy, Conky, Conky, he sold the schoolhouse, but we all had places to store items. And that's one of the key things. If you're going to buy stuff, you need a place to store. If you're going to buy in bulk, if you're only buying one or two things, that's not too hard. And then you need a place to set up for you can photo and list things and resell things. Because buying's easy, selling's the harder part.
Buying's fun, selling's work.
Yeah, the treasure hunt is fun. The selling, actually, when I used to run the eBay, which I loved, I 100% love running eBay because what you get to do is look at your total every day. And I loved watching that total go up and up and up and up. Now, money means different things for different people. For me, I've got to have an income because that income equates into an impact that I can help somebody else do something for someone. Particularly, my passions are Christian camping and religious organizations and things along those lines. So for me, that always got me excited. Like that was such a motivator for me to see what's my total at, what's the total at, and to watch it climb and watch it climb. So I loved the selling part, and eBay made me a ton of money. And so I will forever be grateful to eBay.
Well, I remember back in the because we don't do that many. Oh, nice. Live across the bay from the Tonka Toys Factory.
Conky, you thinking what I'm thinking?
Road trip.
Yes, we're sneaking in, man. Middle of the night. We're not taking anything. We're just going to go in there and play.
There you go.
Well, the giant, you know how many Tonkas? I mean, oh my gosh.
I found a couple of Tonkas today, but that's
nice.
Neither here nor there.
Nice.
If I found myself in the Tonka Toys Factory,
Conky's going to get his license.
No, I haven't. I know they're not there anymore, but
we'll take.
I'd want to find like the tools to stamp the toys out with. You know what I mean? So I could like start making my own Tonka toys. I know they don't make them like they used to, and if they did, they're making them overseas. But
yeah, you should do like custom metal toys, Conky, and like do them for like businesses, like towing companies and like moving companies, and just like make custom heavy duty trucks, charge them like $800, $1,000 a piece, man.
Conky's Customs.
Well,
yep. I like that, Hales. Conky's Customs.
All right. I was going to say,
kid right there, Roberta. Her son broke 2 Tonkas.
Broke 2 Tonka trucks.
I don't know, Mary.
They don't make toys here anymore.
Oh, they did. They shut down. Yeah, I remember I bought a storage unit one of way back. Like my son was just a little kid. There was a Tonka truck, brand new. I think it was like maybe a second or third Christmas. And I was like, oh, this is such a perfect thing. And he used to sit on that thing and fill that thing up right around the yard, everything else. And then the other day, I found in this tote. My wife put all these totes and stuff, so I took it back to the shop. I was like, I got to put this somewhere. She's like, get rid of these Tonkas. But he's not playing with Tonkas anymore. He's too big for that.
Conky's Customs. I got another one. No trucks given.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Dukes of Hazzard dishes.
That was cool. That Dukes of Hazzard case I found.
So cool.
And then that T-shirt I found doing Bo and Luke stuff all day.
We're some good old boys. Never wasting
all day. Man, I might have to roll down the window in this thing.
Trouble with the law since the day they was born.
Ooh, AC. Yeah, there we go.
You okay there, Rob?
Oh yeah, it's getting a little hot in this vehicle, so I got to turn the AC on.
Oh.
I sent you guys a picture earlier this week. Should I show everybody what we found in a unit that never made it on the screen?
Oh, that thing's awesome! Yeah.
Here. 1 second. I'll grab it.
You're gonna really want Conky to want it. Just throw it in with the red lines for free. Buy some red lines and get that 3-pack.
We may not be talking about the same thing. I think I sent you a lot of pictures. Okay.
Oh, okay. You're talking about something else.
This is ridiculously cool.
Oh, that picture. Yes.
Oh, that, yeah.
Solid 14 karat gold miniatures of the world's greatest gold coins. These are all 14 karat gold coins. They're so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So cool. This never ever made it into the video because we didn't find it until the fine tooth sort, which
people don't understand that,
I didn't show you guys this yet. I didn't send you a picture of this one. This is a miniature collection of every U.S. coin ever made.
Wow.
That is awesome.
This was with the gold coins.
Wow.
So stinking cool. But this is why we do what we do. Treasure hunting. Gold. So cool.
I tell Jeff, I said, man, sometimes you're out there. There's people that spend all day long in a river panning for gold, digging through dirt, sand, all day long just to find a little piece. And then sometimes that same thing. We're digging through dirt, trash, and boom, we find a piece of gold. But our piece of gold sometimes is a coin form or ring form or necklace form or charm form or some other kind of form, or it's a piece of silver or, who knows what that little treasure is. But it's definitely a treasure hunt and fun. And what other jobs can you find gold coin, 14 karat gold coins? Where else are you going to find replica of every U.S. coin, miniature style, in a beautiful display piece? It's just one of those things, I never even seen that before, and I've seen so much in my life, and that's why I love my job, is because it's always, boom, you're never going to be able to see everything.
We see something new almost every day.
Just like every die-cast car ever made, Conky's never seen them all.
Nope, there's still some that surprise me.
And Rob and I find them in the units, and then Conky calls dibs.
Try anyway.
I got some stuff I gotta get with you, Conky. I got some pieces and parts, some red line stuff.
I still got Conky's red lines waiting for him. And then Conky, I told you, well, just wait. I'm going to get the other red lines. And then Christian and Patience finished the sort. And I forgot to tell them, hold any cars out. I don't even know where they put them. They're lost. So it's going to be a while before we get to them. So I've just got the box of red lines that never made it in the video either.
Well, they made they run a what they call a members only video, right? Because that's
the cars. Yeah, that was in a members only video. So we did. The members love when we do fine tooth sorting. Like, they love it, and I think that's where we find some of the coolest stuff too. And so there's some times we've gone 3 hours plus just fine tooth sorting, and George found those trying to remember where she found them. I know she called you to
No,
get
they were
your
in the filing cabinet. I think
They were in the filing cabinet. That's right. They were in one of the filing cabinets. Yep.
That's the thing. You got to go through everything, and you just never know what you're going to find from, money, and sometimes the stuff you don't want to find.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to admit it's more fun to go through everything in the better units.
Much more fun.
It is, but sometimes there's been some bad units, and I found like that one little piece that made that one bad unit
really good.
Yeah, you just never ever know. I was trying to buy some units this week. I was bidding on the one, and then just got too high, and I didn't want it. And then, I talked to some people that bought some. You bought some, Jeremy. I talked to Roy. He bought some. I talked to Mike. He bought some. He got a really good one. Mike. He said there's like this furniture and stuff, and then you moved in, and they end up getting like 20 boxes of Nikes.
Wow.
He sent me all these pictures, but like a lot were his size, where they were all his size. So he's picking out a bunch for himself. He got an 80-inch television.
Wow.
I was like, well, I guess you're taking a new TV. He goes, yep.
Wow. You got to have a big wall for an 80-inch television.
But that's the thing about our businesses. We've all upgraded our stuff from storage units before, or either our collections, or speaking of Avery's. Yeah, they bought a couple storage units. I was talking to Roy earlier this week.
He's been on it, man.
Oh yeah, man. And it was just it's been crazy. And this week, man, our auction, I'm trying to think of. I know he just had one Sunday that ended, so he was telling me about it. I had one last Saturday, and then this Saturday, and just so many units. And the Hot Wheel cars, all those Hot Wheels I picked up, we're going to start having our first auction coming up soon.
That's going to go like crazy.
I didn't even put out that video yet.
On all of them.
Yeah. I think I want to say my guesstimate is we picked up 12,000 Hot Wheels so far. So that means there's probably about 18,000 left.
Conky, do you have over 12,000 die-cast cars?
I probably do.
I figured as much.
Holy smoke.
Most of mine are going to be like the old Matchbox and Red Lines. And
what's your most expensive car?
Watermelon sugar. Baby.
Probably the Watermelon Mustang.
Watermelon sugar.
The one that could arguably be $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000.
Woo!
I wish they were all that valuable, but most of them are $100, $200 cars.
That's pretty good, Conky.
Yeah. Well, they weren't. I didn't spend that on them. I'll put it that way.
Well, you've gotten good deals, and a lot of people don't know, but Conky, a lot of them you bought bulk, right? You'd buy like big, like someone selling a whole box full of Hot Wheels, and
right.
You buy them that way, and then.
The way I tried to buy them is, a couple of my favorite buys. All the seller did, and I bought them on eBay. All the seller did was they opened up the case, like the you guys have probably seen the Matchbox trifold cases where they open up and you got like 6 trays. They put them on the floor.
I just found in that house, Conky.
Yeah, but they put it on the floor, and then they stood up here and they took a picture of it. And I'm blowing up these pictures. Of course, they're blurry as hell when they're blowing them up. And that's how I found my first Watermelon Mustang. Is I saw this blur that looked like a Mustang, and it looked like it was watermelon color, and I took a chance on it.
And that was sometimes you got to take risk in this business. Mike McDermott said he's working on his comic book collection this weekend, pricing with his new price guide, and eventually put them all in order. I'm just trying to bag and board all my comics, Mike. And it just seems like every time I get ahead, I get behind again because I got a lot of comics. And then this is how many comics I got. This is a crazy story. I bought this collection from this guy. It has to be over 2 years ago now, 3 years ago. And there was like bag, and each bag would have like 15, 20 comics in each bag. And he had runs like that of comics. From Spider-Man, X-Men, all kind of different ones. And new Marvel movies coming out. And the new villain is trying to remember his name now, Serpent something or Sidewinder or something like that. Is going to be one of the villains. I'm like, oh, what's his first appearance? I say, man, I think I got that comic. I just walk by like the first box of stuff I still got a bag and board. I pull out, and I'm like, well, these are the books, and that's like the top number is a high number. I'm like, well, it would be in this pile. I pull it out. I had 2 of them. So, I mean, that book like last year was probably worth $4 or $5. Now it's worth like $40, you know, just because new movies coming out. But it's just funny because it's like, man, that's been sitting there for 2 years. I haven't bagged and boarded that yet. So then I took them all out and bagged and boarded them that day.
You're like, now is the time.
Well, I mean, Jeremy, you know, you've had to take cards, like garbage pail cards before. You sleeve them, put them in sleeves, and if you put cardboard behind them or plastic, I mean, it's how long does it take? You know what I'm saying? It's not an easy task.
These are all in numeric order. You got to sort them. You got to,
and you got to do it carefully because you don't want to damage corners. And I mean, there's more to it. So it's not like a task like you can bag and board a bunch of things or take a bunch of cards and put them in top loaders. It takes time, and then it's sorting. And like me, man, to put them all in order, but I have to do it because I got to figure out which ones I'm going to sell for my, you know, that's like one of my things I'll sell first to put kids through college, you know, because I got, you know, I'll take my first comic book collection and sell it. And then, you know, because I got lots of great books, but doubles, you know, like I just told you that book I have 2 of. Like I have probably 4, the first appearance of Venom, you know, that's like a $5,000 to $1,000 book, you know. I think 4, maybe I even had 5 of those.
what's your most expensive comic?
That's tough because most of my comics aren't graded. I would say a few of my most expensive comics. I have X-Men #1. That's a good comic book. Superman #4. The first Incredible Hulk. First Wolverine, which is Incredible Hulk 181.
You gotta give me prices though. I don't know what these are worth.
I got 2 Mr. Freeze first appearance. Those are worth probably $2,000 to $3,000. The X-Men #1. It depends on grade, you know. That's the thing. It's not graded. It's tough to say because I could say, oh, they're this or that. I would say that book's got to be at least worth, probably $5,000 or so. I don't have any books that are like crazy. I would say the highest book maybe $5,000. Most of my books are $100, $200, $50 things, $20 books, But I have a lot of, like X-Men and Spider-Man books, like runs, and there's a lot of books in there, $50, $100, $200, $300 books, But you know how it is. Conditions, everything. Like a graded 10 compared to a graded 9, like what's the atomic bomb graded a 10 compared to graded a 9.5 or 9.4 or whatever, Or what is it? The atomic bomb? Is that the right name?
Atom bomb.
Atom bomb. Man, I knew I said stupid. That will sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm done. Conky, tell me about some red lines.
Well, just speaking of red lines, I was going to take the ones that Jeremy sold me. I probably have a lot of those already, just maybe not in as nice a condition as the ones I was going to buy of him. So I was just going to sell my duplicates too, That's,
yeah, $60,000 a year to go to college, Conky. What do you think about that?
Man,
I don't know.
did I ever tell you what I did to save money going to college?
No, I don't know.
All right, here's another dumb story. So when I left BF Goodrich on that drop off of the layoff, and I was the last one, I went to college. I was married, and I had a daughter at this time, and I was very, very ambitious. And so I went in, and you had to take a double math, you had to take a double major and a minor. The school required a double major, so that's additional work as it is. So I took a 4-year program and I did it in 2. And I went into the office and they said, you can't do this. Because the reason why I did it is because after so many electors or so many classes, everything is free after that. They can't charge you anymore. So what I did to save money, this was all economics. It was all to save money. I doubled up a 4-year program and graduated in 2 years. And they said it couldn't be done. And obviously, I'm one of those people. If you tell me it can't be done, I'm gonna try and do it. And so not only did I try and do it, I graduated with highest honors.
They were miniature, the coins. He wishes they were.
Yep, those are all miniatures. It's particularly a miniature series collection.
Red lines are special because, well, Conky Teller.
It's the first generation of Hot Wheels. They were produced from 67 to 77, and they were the first fast die-cast car. So in the 60s, when all the kids were playing with the Matchbox cars, they all looked realistic, but they weren't fast. You couldn't race them down any kind of a track or anything. You just, you played with them in the sandbox. These things came out and they were fast. They were modeled after another name for them is California Customs. In California, there was the real cars actually had red stripes on the tires like white walls. So when you see a red line, like this is an original red line right here. This is one of the ones I jumped.
Hold on, Conky. Hold on.
You see the red stripes on the tires? That's a red line. But you have to be careful if you're going to collect them or buy them and sell them or whatever you want to do. Lately, they have been, and I say lately, starting in like 93, they have been reproduced and copied. People restore them. People fake them. There's a lot of things you've got to know to look at a red line Hot Wheel and figure out whether it's authentic or not.
And one of the biggest things, like Conky just said, they reissued them, 50th anniversary or something?
25th and 30th.
Okay, 25th and 30th anniversary of red lines. And they say it on the bottom, but I've had multiple people bring them to me. I got these red lines for auction, and I got to be the guy who tells them, they have some value, but they're not worth original red line value. They're not even close. But they bring me all these beautiful, brand new looking mint red lines. That should be your first indication. When you see something that looks almost too good, always be wary, especially something that's from 1967, 8, 9, and that a little boy was supposed to play with, right, Conky?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's little differences you can tell. For example, in 1993, they came out with I think it was the 25th anniversary red lines, and then in 1997, they came out with the 30th, which they called the Vintage Series or something like that. And not all castings were recast. What happened in the late 70s when they stopped making the red lines and started making the black walls? Some of the castings, and when I say casting, it's just different cars. Like this is a casting, this is a casting, this is a bug eye casting. So some of the castings, some of the tooling for making certain cars, they sent to Argentina, and they started making what looked like red lines, only they had different wheels on them. It was a completely different toy company. Moku, I think it was MIKU or MOKU or something like that was the maker. And oddly enough, those are actually worth quite a bit of money because they didn't produce a lot of those. But, again, you've really got to be able to tell the difference between something that was produced in the 90s and something that was produced in the 60s. And there's just, like I said, just a bunch of little subtle things that you just have to get used to once you collect them for a while.
And anything that's worth money, there's going to be copyrights. There's going to be, fakes. I've had fake cards come through my shop. Here's an example: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics by Mirage. He was talking about the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic. They only made probably, I think, 5 or 10,000. I think it's 5,000. It might even be less. It might have been 1,000 copies. Then they did a second print and then a third print, and they kept adding more and more. Inside, they were going to say first print, second print, third print. But I've had people come in, I got the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, this is third print, fourth. And they still have value, but once again,
not what they are expecting.
Correct. Because they didn't do their research or anything else. And I always have to be the guy with the bad news. Thank you, Black Widow.
Yeah, don't you hate telling people that? what they have isn't worth what they thought. Oh, I mean, it's always awkward to have that conversation.
It is. I'm getting better at it.
practice, huh?
Yes, practice, and well, it's like we're cleaning out this house for these people, and Jeff's been the main point in contact person. He's the one that got the deal, and like it's like, oh well, what you call so and so likes history. If you guys find the old newspapers, can you leave those and this and that? And then all of a sudden they're like arguing about the riding mower. So Jeff had to go get the contract today. Well, I had to send him a picture of the contract, and it was like, send it to the people. Like they forgot the contract that they signed that says we have the riding lawnmower. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's just, it's just tough sometimes dealing. And when you're dealing with multiple people in a family, it's always difficult because there's a lot of chiefs and not, those old saying something, too many chiefs and not enough Indians.
Yeah.
You guys been there, right?
Or every Indian trying to be a chief instead of showing respect to the chief. You've been there before too. Yeah.
It goes, So it's one of those things. So it's anytime I deal with it a lot in my business, and I have to deal with multiple family members a lot of times. And usually, how it goes most of the time, one person's in charge because there's an executor. There can't be 5 executors. Okay. There's only one executor. So it's up to that person to step up and take control. And sometimes they can, and sometimes they don't. And that's where everything gets out of line really quickly. And, and when money gets involved with families, and I was just talking to my brother-in-law, and he was talking about how all this crazy stuff happened with his family when his mom died, and it's sad, money is bad. It can corrupt people really quickly. And I've seen it over $5,000. I've seen it over, millions of dollars, but it's amazing.
Remember, money isn't what does it. The love of money is what. Yeah.
It's not the money part. It's the
we need money.
Everyone.
We all need money.
Oh yeah, and there's no one else tell you
your love of money. For me, I need an income so that I have an impact. And for me, having an impact in people's lives, a positive impact is what I value. I got to have the income to have the impact. There are other people that go, no, I just need the income. I just want the income. And it's all about, you see these individuals always wearing gold and watches and, whatever. I think of rappers in our current culture, right? Like how many chains, gold teeth, like is the image that important? What could be done with the actual income, where I don't think I wouldn't even wear a $5 watch. It's on my cell phone.
Well, I would break a watch. If I wore a watch, I would break it. So I can't wear a watch.
Yeah, we break them. We break them. But
I had something on the other day, and I said, "Hey, Jeff, what happens? I should wear this." He goes, "Rob, that thing would be destroyed by the end. Within 2 hours of you working, it would be destroyed."
But that whole image of, well, I have more money than you. And I've told my students this before, because I did go on to be an adjunct professor at the master's level. And I always told them one of the biggest things in fundraising is that everybody thinks that doctors and lawyers have money. And that is one of the biggest misconceptions in our world today. Doctors and lawyers hold more debt than any other professions in the United States. Most of them are living paycheck to paycheck because they live outside of their means. They can't pay their bills. So let's say they do make $1 million and they go, well, I want to live in $1 million house. Now they got a mortgage for $1 million house, or they buy a $5 million house. So it's the same as the person making $50,000 that's living paycheck to paycheck. It's a bigger scale with more debt, living paycheck to paycheck. The people, the multimillionaires in our culture are, and you guys already know this, small business, family-owned business owners. They are the multimillionaires. It's the people, if you saw them on the street, you probably wouldn't even know.
Yeah,
well,
go ahead, Conky.
You mentioned doctors and lawyers. It just so happens that you know, the so-called high-paying professions, people like that. It's sort of a keep up with the Joneses thing. You know what I mean? They couldn't just make their $500,000 a year or whatever they make a year and live in a humble house in a quiet neighborhood and feel that they were being accepted by their peers. That's the sad part.
Well, I'll give you a prime example. I have a friend that's a doctor, makes multi-million-dollars a year. He oversees a department. Two different hospitals, oversees a department, 2 different hospitals. So he's not like a regular doctor. He oversees doctors. He's a doctor that oversees doctors. And
Wow.
him and his partner, they created this a long time ago. They get paid a lot of money, multi-millions of dollars, probably $4 million each year or more. But long story short, he decides to live in a house in Cleveland that's maybe 1,600 square feet. And then he bought the gas station next to it. And he has the gas station, and he owns a firehouse and some other things. But his business partner lives in a neighborhood, probably the cheapest house is, $1 million before the house is all boomed, and he just makes fun of him all the time. He's like, how could you not, how could you live there? That's what he says. How could you live there? How can you drive those cars he drives and things like that? But he don't care about the money aspect. He don't need to show off to anybody. But his business partner, because his business partner's his brother is a lawyer. So he's a doctor. His brother's a lawyer. His brother lives down the street, But then you live in that neighborhood. Guess what? You can't pull up in a Honda and park it in your garage or a Subaru. Everyone there has, a 700 Mercedes or a new Tesla Cybertruck or a Lamborghini or some classic car, So that's the whole thing. It's just like, it doesn't end. And then, your neighbor just went on vacation. Where are you going on vacation? Oh, we're taking a 3-month tour of Europe. What are you guys doing? We're going to go camping. What? Camping?
We're going out in the woods.
You're going to have a bomb. Does someone start the fire for you?
And with all that being said, I know there's probably some in the chat going, oh my goodness, look at Jeremy's house. Listen, I understand God's blessed me with an incredible home. Okay. The reason why I'm here is not because of the home. It's because of the security of the property. And being stalked has fundamentally changed my life forever. Both Rob and Conky can tell you I live just as comfortably in a home in Florida, in Otter Creek, that you can put your finger through the holes of the wall. And I am happy and content there as well. The point is being away from people and security. I can live in garbage, which the ranch house is not garbage. I downplay it a lot. Since Rob committed to tiling the floor, I mean, it's looking up, but I'm just as happy in that home as I am this home. But my life has changed fundamentally to where I must have security, and the property, the actual property, is secure. The home, I would never build a home like this. I would never live in a home like this. It was already there.
Yes,
the home I lived in beforehand, I bought at auction for $72,000.
Right. And the reason you bought that is definitely security and seclusion. It has nothing to do with blah, 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 this or that. Because, there's a lot of places you couldn't live. There was no way you would be able to secure most houses, which people don't understand that factor. But it sounds like, oh, yeah, I could just, your house, your neighbor is 2 feet from your house. You can't secure your property. Okay. Let me explain that.
You definitely can't have a bathroom with the view that Jeremy's bathroom has with a neighbor 2 feet from your house.
No, you can't. And I appreciate what the Lord has done for me. I can't emphasize that enough. I truly am blessed. And Flippin Adventure says the island is sounding so much better. Everybody may not know, but last winter, I went and viewed an island to move from Otter Creek to an actual 9-acre island to be secure from Lynette and Crook. And so we went and viewed it. There was no video. Nobody got to see a video. There was no video taking. The major problem was you had to own property on the mainland to get to the island. So you could park your vehicles, you could dock a boat to get back and forth. And there's no property on the mainland to be able to do that. And I was very serious about getting as far away and secure in Florida from some of these crazies. And it just wasn't going to be practical. But I guarantee it does. It does sound better and better every day.
Now, being able to see my creek or your creek, does that count as waterfront property?
That's waterfront. That's
what I thought. I mean, there's water and it's in front of me or behind me. It depends how you want to look at it. Depends which way you're standing. But I thought that's waterfront. I can see my pool from out there. But yeah, my computer's about to die. So before Hales leaves, let's do a quick prayer. And
mine just.
Oh man, I knew he was going to do that. So
yeah, there he goes.
But no, we appreciate everybody checking us out tonight. It's been unbelievable, crazy week. If you guys didn't see yesterday's video, you got to check out yesterday's video. Tomorrow, last part of the basement, the son's room that one son didn't come back, and no one went in his room. So, Conky, that's where some great toys are going to be found. And I showed part of that son's room in yesterday's video. 3 of the same tour shirt. Another tour shirt. The one tour shirt, 84. I think they're both from 84. Unbelievable, Conky. So,
wow.
Awesome stuff. So, guys, got to check that out. And then Saturday's video, the barn shit. I don't even know what you call it. Things 2-story barn thing. Paying me $3,200 cleaned out. Wait, do you see what's inside there, Conks? Unbelievable. It is crazy. And then this weekend, yes, this Saturday, auction, www.secondsense.com. Guys, got to check it out. Unbelievable stuff being sold. And Saturday, Conky has his live, 8 o'clock. His live at Conky's Flippin' Adventures. If you guys missed Boss Babes, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Right?
Yeah,
yesterday, Boss Babes. And it's going to be next in a month from first Wednesday of every month on Conky's Flippin' Adventures at 8 o'clock.
That's the way they do it. It's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Well,
all these different times for.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
That's all right.
I'm trying. Boss Babes, I apologize. 7 o'clock for Boss Babes. I love my Boss Babes. They're all great ladies. Stay safe, Rob and crew. We appreciate that, man. We've been knocking out so much stuff, guys. It's been ridiculous, the amount of work. People realize, like, some people are like, oh, Rob, you got that house and you're going to make all this money and they're paying you to. People have no idea the amount of work. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 file cabinets in the basement, Conky. They're all full of paper. Okay. So one, I had to unload all that. And 4 of those file cabinets are the super wide ones, Conky. It took 3 of us to get them up the steps without killing ourselves.
Jeez.
I mean, people have no clue. You know, there was a piano in the house. I mean, it all looks easy. When it's spread out, it doesn't look like that much stuff. When you start actually moving stuff, carrying it up the steps, you can only carry 1 box at a time. You can only carry 1 piece of furniture at a time up the steps. You know, it's not like, oh, I can carry all this stuff up. And then you walk up steps, walk down the thing, take it to the ramp, go all the way down the ramp, or go through the other way, go out through the garage, go and load up the trailer. You know what I'm saying, Conks?
Yep. Well, I've helped you on those before. I know the amount of work that's involved.
Steve, ham radio equipment, man, all the time. And hopefully I got one more. I'm going back to the guy's house.
No, that's the guy with all the Chevettes, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping I go back there because they have so much ham radio stuff, Steve. But I mean, I get it all the time. You just got to take a look. It just depends on the storage units. Yeah, Melissa, I agree. I did underbid it, but you know, it's always tough, man. You always feel like you're asking too much until you actually do the work, and then you're like, I never ask enough. People don't realize it's like, I don't even know how many man hours I got in it right now between myself, Chachi, and Jeff. I mean, you're talking about lots of hours. I mean, just if you did 100 hours at $20 an hour, you know what I'm saying? Just think about that. So, and it's way more than that. So just times that. But yeah, Invisible Wife was on Boss Babes yesterday. She did make an appearance real quick. I think she put the bunny ears behind Noreen. I thought that was funny. I know Conky was laughing about it. So she'll juice things like that. And, but yeah, we do appreciate everybody. I'm going to call it a night here, though. So I'll do a quick prayer, take off my hat, my glasses. Unless you want to pray, Conky.
I'll let you do it.
Lord, appreciate all you've done for us. And, thank you for getting us through such a trying and hard week. Lots of crazy things as always. We appreciate the guidance and support you've given us, Lord. And please, anyone out there tonight that's listening, anyone that needs any help, assistance, just help them out. Whatever you can do for them, whether it's in their own life or someone they know's life, just try to make it better for anyone involved. And appreciate all the blessings you've given us, and let our blessings be able to bless others, Lord. And amen.
Amen.
So it's once again, guys, I have an awesome auction this Saturday. We ship everywhere in the world. Yesterday's video, if you haven't checked it out, I got all these videos from this house. They pay me $4,200 total, $1,200 for the house, $3,000 for the barn. Tomorrow's video will be the son's room in the basement. The rest of it, I just showed part of the end part of it. I didn't get to show the main chunk of it, and there's some crazy cool things we find. And then the barn video. And then I'm not sure, Conky. I think I might be doing the hoarder video coming out soon. Oh, hey, shh. Everyone that stayed, yeah, I'm talking all 500 of you that's still left here. Haven't. Guess what? I got to go to court, Conky.
You got to go to court.
I've been subpoenaed.
For what?
A subpoena, Conky.
That means they got you by the short and curls.
Well, it's going to be a big thing. I'm going to have to probably put out a video about this, but yeah, I'm going to be going to court. So everyone, you're going to have to stay tuned for why am I have to go to court? Subpoenaed. That's right. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we appreciate everyone watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. Until we meet again. Conky, anything else?